And welcome back to the Tee Off, an Australian podcast about the awesome sport of disc golf. My name is Paddy Robinson. We're back in the booth with Timmy Bowen and Andrew Ferguson. How are you, fellas?
I'm fantastic. How you going?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Did you fix your mic there?
Oh, I don't know. It's whatever. It's a bit tight, but it'll do.
And Tim?
I'm still a little hungover, to be honest, Paddy. I mean, we had our boys' trip. We played some trash disc golf.
That was a week ago too. It's taken all week.
My age, it'll be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You boys are soft.
But we had a blast.
I was fine the next day. I was backing it up.
I mean, we did one thing I've never done before. We played a trash disc round, which I believe is every round that Jacob Cruden and Oliver, what's his name, Oscar Felberg play.
Basically, we just played with Prodigy discs.
The Prodigy disc was the good one, actually.
Actually, it was all right.
But the format was cool. We all brought 3 of the worst discs in our collection, and we're talking like DX Sharks. There was a DX Valkyrie. There was disc I hadn't heard of, like the Rattler.
There was no latitude.
It's the grossest disc.
There was no latitude in the
and
mix.
I bought the Zephyr,
saying.
which I'll let you guys have the scoop. Fergie is actually a 1020 disc golfer with a Innova Zephyr, which is an oversized hybrid throw and catch disc.
I don't know how out of like 21 discs you end up with a Zephyr.
I know.
And you just,
I was glad.
You tore that course up.
So good.
I feel sorry for the person who got my XCOM starter set, but anyway.
Yeah.
But the trash disc round was very, very fun. But yeah, we had a much needed boys trip, and it was good times.
Yeah, there was a little less disc golf than what we thought. It was good. It was good to go out and just have a bit of fun like that. So yeah, like anyone who's out there who wants to have a bit of fun with your mates, like trash disc, can recommend. That was a lot of fun.
And so can a fishing charter as well. So that was pretty good. And learning how to cheat poker, thanks to Tim.
Yeah, yeah. If you want 2 good blokes down at San Remo for for a good fishing charter,
Greg and Ken. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. We're 1 minute into the pod and we've already waffled on. We're back into the swing of things, Paddy.
Yeah, stoked to be back. We did a little promo the other day, and to those who like our voices but like our faces even more, we're on the old YouTube. We are filming in the corner there, so pretty cool. Stoked to get that going and actually see our faces. I don't know,
And we're committing to fortnightly right after the Pro Tour events. So we should be able to have the scoop, talk about the latest and greatest Disc Golf Pro Tour stuff as soon as it comes out, which would be good.
Yeah, one little difference there as well. You didn't probably hear any advertisements at the start. So if you want to advertise on the Tee Off, that is open too. Just sing out, reach out if you're interested, because that'd be cool again for this year.
Absolutely.
Australia's premier podcast. We have to put that out there because there are other podcasts these days, but we are the first and obviously the most illustrious.
Yeah. Do we want to mention the call out about the smoke alarm?
Oh, that was pretty funny actually by Earth Rollers. Yeah, right.
Hilarious. It was a new Tee Off episode. Better change the smoke alarm batteries. Yeah.
Oh,
good one, boys.
We're gonna have to.
That was actually pretty good.
We're going to have to get pretty harsh and personal with those boys, I reckon.
Yeah.
Well, I won't do it.
Quality over quantity.
This is our first official episode of the year. We obviously had the Dave Perry episode from last year we put out, so make sure you give that a listen. But this is our first one, so I don't want to go too harsh against Strollers, but we may be be facing off.
Hang on, just let me close this tab. All right, and the final thing we're going to mention, the Patreon and the merch. Now, we did sort of allude to that. We've got some stuff in the works, but if you're keen, jump on the Patreon, start supporting the page, and you'll get first access to those merch options coming out, which would be pretty cool.
Exciting stuff.
All right, let's get straight into some news.
What's news around the world, around Australia? What's news? What's happened and who's spoken?
All right, Timmy, what's been happening?
So we had the first Disc Golf Pro Tour event, the Discraft Supreme Flight Open presented by Florida's Adventure Coast. I don't know about you boys, but I hear the word Supreme and I think pizza.
Yeah, 100%.
Hundy.
You guys? Yeah.
Yeah, Hundy.
It's the only time I ever use that word is the flavour of a pizza.
Yeah.
This was a stellar opening tour event down in Brooksville, Florida. Very challenging technical course made by Paul Macbeth, the Olympus disc golf course.
Did you see the baskets?
What were the baskets?
So this was something that popped up. He got the D-Glow when he shot the 18 under. The baskets were there.
So these were the D-Glow 18 down round baskets?
Yeah, apparently
wow.
He slipped it into his contract that he's like, look, I'm building a course, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to get those baskets that I shot the 18 down on. And apparently they were like yeah, all right, that's easy, done.
No
worries.
wonder he putted so well. And that's one of my notes here is that Paul Macbeth's putting looked scary good. Like
Yeah, right.
back to old times. He missed
See,
4.
I saw a few spit outs as well.
Did you really? Well, I've written the
Early.
stats down here. So Macbeth missed 4 C1s for the event, but just his form.
And
It looks
I saw all
confident.
4 of them.
It's reminiscent of the old Paul.
So were they
The
actually
McBeast
spit
is
outs?
back.
So we're saying he could potentially have missed none.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's one event, but I saw a lot of putts from C2 and deep C1 right on the pole, and just the stroke looked 6-time world champ like.
I mean,
better than last season.
He's taken third by 1 stroke behind AB, so
Spot on.
that's
Pretty massive.
Yeah.
It's huge.
What do you guys think of this course, though? This course, like, I love all the cliff shelves that they're throwing up and onto, and I love that it tests every single shot shape. So you couldn't just get away with just having a backhand or just having a forehand. Really had to work those angles, and a good shot often gave you a C2 look, not a bullseye hit. So putting came into play big time as well.
I do like that. I do like a nice fast green.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, I don't know, I'm sure that there are, but I can't think of any like courses that are on the Pro Tour that were designed by someone of the caliber of, Paul Macbeth.
That's a good point.
Who's playing it and coming third?
I mean, I'm sure that a lot of pros have had some input and stuff, but I remember the comment that he designed it to have a lot of like low power back, like, not all backhands, but, a lot of nose control and a lot of power in your shots, which, I mean, when you see who's, busted out that top maybe 10, there's a lot of power throwers in there, but that's quite a unique throw
have the
to disc
bag.
golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of room for error. You really have to do a lot of shape control, which I love to watch. I think quite often, it's all these like open, sort of shots, and you've got like a lot more room for error, but not on this course. That's for sure.
Exactly, and proper scrambling came into play. But we digress. The MPO winner, we need to shout him out. We can't wait any longer. Ezra Robinson bags his first win. So people were going into the season wondering if he'd actually get a Pro Tour win.
Yeah.
And first event, he's had a commanding six-shot win over AB, with Paul and Ricky rounding up the top.
Do you think maybe the trip down under, it's kept him fresh? It's kept him,
absolutely.
set him off to a good pace?
Yeah, absolutely. In our tips, I tipped Gossage for that very reason. I'm like, they've played that big event. They've had that taste of like, this is not their first event for the year. This is their second big event for the year because they've played a couple of those New Zealand majors. So, no signs of rust from Ezra, and got his first win. Amazing.
And geez, he was emotional as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, the ending was really cool to see.
Yeah.
He had Isaac on the bag, so Isaac obviously finished his round and rushed out there to be the caddy for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is just awesome to see.
Yeah. I mean, Isaac, he's got the new bags, some new discs. He took out, he tied for 15th? So top 20. I'm very, I'm a little bit biased now because
You love him now.
Our lat boy.
The Robertson
But,
boys, they were my boys, the
yeah.
Robertson brothers. Now they're ex-Prodigy. I don't know how I feel about it.
They wised up.
At least Latitude have got a good Robinson in the lineup now.
Yeah. They just knew the names associated with championships.
Okay, yeah,
mate. Yeah. No, it's good to see him sort of there, but like him jumping on the bag for Ezra, they're obviously very, very tight. It's
It is awesome to see.
Yeah.
And look, Ezra, he played immaculately. He shot the course record in round 3, -12. He was actually 3 shots back from AB going into the last round.
Yeah.
And he topped C1 reg and C2 reg at 52% and 72%, which is honestly just flawless driving. Those stats, you won't see stats that high throughout the rest of the year, I can guarantee. He only had 1 single bogey for the whole event, which particularly on the Olympus course is staggering.
Yeah, pretty huge. And AB coming in second, also playing some immaculate golf, like 1085 rated round in there.
Yeah.
Just looked like the last round let him down a little bit, but still good to see.
Just another point to put Ezra's driving stats into perspective. He only hit 25% C2 putts, which it feels bad saying only 25% C2 because that's amazing at an Aussie level. But if you compare that to the next 3, so Barella, Macbeth and Wysocki, they went at 63%, 54% and 58% from C2, which is honestly
Gee whiz.
that is godlike C2 putting stats.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's something going down with the Discraft putters, but That entire lead card was Discraft. I couldn't ignore it. We had Ezra freshly with Discraft, Ricky freshly with Discraft, and AB and Paul just all Discraft.
I know AB's got the Roach. Or no, he's putting with the Focus.
The Focus.
Focus, and we've got, obviously, Paul with the Kratos. Is he still putting with that, or...?
Isn't he the Lunas? I don't know.
Was he? I thought he came over maybe the Kratos is a throwing putter.
What's Ricky putting with?
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask. I was leading towards, and also Ezra.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
To know.
Yeah, I was listening to one in the bag from Ezra, what he had in New Zealand, and he was still learning all the discs. And he's like, he said point blank, he's like, I don't even know if I like the zone yet, to be honest. Yeah. He's more of a fan of the Malta. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. But it's really good to see Ezra and Ricky just rocking their Discraft bags to good effect. And yeah. I think the lead card being entirely Discraft is maybe a reflection of the disc, but probably more a reflection that Discraft is actually sponsoring roughly 90% of the Pro Tour field these days.
that helps. That's a good stat.
Who don't they have? Who don't they have? We do have a segment talking about sponsorships, so we'll get onto that later in the episode.
Nice.
Anything else to say about MPO? The only other note I had was Jake Mon scored a top 10 finish, and he looks like an early season bolter for 2025. Well, he might be this year's Joey Anderson. No one knows who he is, but he looked good. Looked real solid.
He's been lurking for a bit there. There was a couple that I liked to see where they finished. Some had a bit of a quiet year last year, like your Calvin Klein, your Adam Hammers. It was good to see them hitting that top 10.
Did you say Calvin Klein, or do you mean Calvin Heinberg and Kyle Klein?
Yeah, Kyle Klein. Sorry. But I was looking at that 3rd, 4th, 5th at Paul Macbeth, Ricky Wysocki and Calvin Heinberg.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, and hopefully that shapes up for the rest of the year. But yeah, good to see some of those boys who maybe struggled a little bit. I feel like Kyle was kind of sitting in the 20th to the 30th most of last year. So to come out strong and get a top 10 at the first event is promising.
Maybe a little shout out to Kayla Viska as well. I mean, sneaking into the top 20 there, like the bloke's 40 something now, and
Discraft as well,
and just gone to Discraft. Like that's a pretty solid showing.
Dr. Smooth.
The only other one, like Gannon outside the 10, but Eagle sneaking into the top 15. So yeah, it's one event, but I'm kind of excited for this year to see what it will bring.
Me too. Now, boys, the event obviously finished this morning at the time of recording, so we haven't had a chance to watch the FPO, but I did strap in and watch the highlights, and FPO was an absolute epic battle.
Yeah.
So round 3, just to put us in perspective, round 3 started with Holland Hanley at 10 down, Evelina and Macy Vela-Diaz at 9 down, and Ella Hansen at 8 down. So 2 shots between the 4 of them.
Yeah, right.
And ultimately it was Ella Hansen with a win in a 3-way playoff over Holland, and then Evelina in 3rd place. So absolutely epic finish to the FPO.
Well, to be honest, the top 5 looked close there. Well, Kat Murch at 11, down
she was
at
chasing.
4th.
Yep.
And then Macy.
Yeah, Macy. Back, obviously, had a baby.
Yeah.
She had a bit of issues with her sponsor last year, and she made that public with DD, but she's back with DD.
Yeah, right there.
Which is one of the points I have here. So, yeah, because that was they offered, she said on her Facebook post, DD gave her a contract that was quite simply not good enough and wasn't enough to support her touring full time. So she ditched them. She was picked up by DGA for the year, but now she's back with DD.
Interesting. So obviously, they freed up a little bit of cash, but I guess we'll get to that a little bit later.
But good on her making a big return after having a kid, because we're all dads here. We know how hard that is to
we're still trying to come back
very well.
That's it. Anyway, I need to recap the FPO battle a little bit, because it was absolutely epic. So first of all, in regulation, there was a 2-shot swing on hole 17 where Ella tied things up going into the last hole with Holland. And then on hole 18, Holland looked really shaky. Ella put a good drive out there. Holland went OB early, and Ella had the door wide open to get the win. She had the decision to sort of drive up the big shelf and land in the circle and lay up for the win, which she took, but she could have laid up and had an easier approach to the basket, and she choked, to be honest. She just flat out choked, left it short, went OB, and all of a sudden, Evelina threw an epic shot to gain a stroke and joined the 3-way playoff. But boys, the playoff, and this is, I don't know how I feel about this. They just finished hole 18, and the first playoff hole 18 again. Yeah. So they just walked back to the box and played the exact same hole again. And to be honest, this hole, like Ella, she eagled it twice and went OB, got the par in the final round. So she definitely had the advantage going into that that particular hole.
Yeah, and hole 18 was a bit more of a forehand friendly.
It was just 2 forehands.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, it was a bit of an interesting one. But anyway, nevertheless, the 3 of them teed off on hole 18. And Ella and Holland eagled it and knocked Evelina out, who unfortunately found OB. So they went on to the hole 2 of the playoff, which, have a guess which hole they played again.
6.
18?
Hole 18. So they're playing this hole for the 3rd time in a row.
Is it a scheduling thing? What's going on with that?
I don't know. Maybe logistically,
Yeah.
it just made sense to walk back to that pad and play it again. It's a cool hole, but it just would have been cool to see some variety. But nevertheless, this one went down Ella's way. She stuck it again for another eagle, and Holland unfortunately found OB and couldn't recover with a throw-in. So congratulations to Ella. She actually played hole 18 5 times in the event, and she got 4 eagles on hole 18.
Jeez.
So fair to say the playoff hole decision went in Ella's favour.
She would have been licking her chops walking back to that tee.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's definitely like I usually find that like the playoff it's a loop. It's at least like hole 1, hole 18, something like that, which I don't mind. But having one hole just on repeat kind of sucks.
Maybe, I mean, I don't actually know the course layout, how close 1 is to 18.
not sure.
But yeah.
And don't get me wrong, hole 18 is a sick hole, but it is clearly 2 forehands. Like, even Ezra Robinson threw a forehand off the box, I believe.
Yeah.
So if you were a player that just only threw backhands, like I imagine James Conrad, if that was the hole, like he'd almost be, $5 to 1, underdog against any other player that has a forehand, I think. So maybe with the playoffs, we need a little bit of variety just to let, all the different skill sets shine out. And maybe this is a good argument for the aggregate playoff as opposed to a sudden death, one whole playoff.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Maybe the only other thing I'm thinking is the crowd.
Yeah.
It would have been like nice and poised and probably quite a good group around 18. Maybe it's hard. That's what came into it as well. But yeah, anyway.
Lots of stuff we're unaware of, but just watching it on the TV, I was like, playing hole 18 for the 3rd time. This is a bit awkward.
I love judging those decisions from my couch.
Yeah, that's it.
What am I doing? Why'd you throw OB? And that's how I sound like at home. Just a good to see another win from Ella. She only got like 1 or 2 wins last year on the Pro Tour. So getting one out early as well, which is good.
Got to get them while Kristen. I was going to say Kristen Tatar, but it's Kristen Latt.
Well, she had another photo shoot. Like,
couldn't play.
Porsche, Mercedes.
You got to get the wins while they're out.
Getting another national award.
Did she get the Player of the Year, or that hasn't been announced yet?
I think she comes second.
I think it was Missy Gannon. I think I can't remember.
Okay, no, like wasn't there some sort of international voting
sports?
Right.
Yeah, that's probably it hasn't come out yet. Has it?
Not too sure. Not too sure.
See.
There were no real notable stats from the FBO side of things. Like the top 3 were pretty much identical in all categories. But I will put it on record that Ella got quite a few Paddy Robertson style tree kicks in round 3.
Righto.
There was even one hole where she got a double doink, sort of Dan Frost style, where she should have been nowhere near the basket, but she got 2 tree kicks and was in the bullseye. So very, very lucky.
All right.
Got to take the luck.
That's really all I've got to it. Just want to point out Macy Valadez, as we've mentioned, very, very good form to see her back, and having such a good first event back. Where she finished 4th or 5th behind Kat Mersch, I think. So very well done for her.
Now, the only other thing I want to say is, what do you boys think of the actual coverage? Like, overall,
look, I wasn't happy. Fair to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little scratchy, a little dicey. Disc Golf Network doesn't seem to have improved at all. And they were promoting that it was free for PDGA members, but there was no way to watch it for free as far as I was aware. So, bit of a tricky one.
Not a US-based thing, perhaps, or,
I don't know.
IP address.
Yeah, the Disc Golf website's not fantastic, the DGN one, so it was hard to work it out. But look, I mean, I'm just happy to see Disc Golf.
We're still back watching.
I just take what I get. Next event, boys, Waco, Texas in 2 weeks. I'm having a tip with Kristen Latt because she's back. And I'm going Kyle Klein because he's. I remember he won it a couple of years ago, and as you mentioned, Paddy, he's kind of just my little bit of a sleeper tip for this season.
So you're going KK and KL.
KK and KL, yep.
Yeah, right.
You boys want to have a tip, have a crack at Waco? I know I was tempted to go Ricky because he plays well in Texas.
Yeah, well, it was going to be my tip, actually, so okay.
I'm going to throw Eagle out there if he's playing.
It's hard not to tip AB. AB looked pretty bloody supreme.
Yeah. It's hard to go past any.
There you go. Just use the word supreme.
There you go.
He's pizza-esque. Anyway. Now, boys.
Hawaiian.
Is my T-shirt giving it away today, mate?
Frisbee pizza T-shirt. That could be it.
Yeah.
Now, boys, strap yourself in. We haven't done an episode this year, so we have about roughly 50 Aussie events to get through.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through all of them. Just hands up. I'm not going through all the little Melbourne Disc Golf Summer Cup events. But that's not to say we don't appreciate them. We're just shouting out the big ones for time constraints.
On most podcasts, there's at least an option where you can speed up the podcast by 25% or thereabouts. Feel free to do that right now.
No, look, we're just clearing the backlog, and I do want to give a shout out to the Melbourne Disc Golf Club for running those smaller events, and Launch Disc Golf for running a couple of Kickstarters as well.
If you do want to spend some time listening to all of that and hearing all the behind the scenes, the Throwlers podcast
there you go.
does,
There you go.
all the, the MA4 results, I think. Yeah.
Just ignore all the cheeky digs they have at us.
Yeah.
But let's kick things off with the Golden City Classic 2025, supported by Innova and powered by Guff Paddy.
Yeah, in Ballarat, recircuit TD, straight into the MPO. Dave Perry came out with a solid 16 under. Nice little, I think it was like a 10-10 event rating, which was solid from Dave. He had a 9-shot lead over Marcus Valotta and Ryan Deere in the mix there as well. Tim, you didn't play? What happened?
Nah, down camping this one, so it was tricky one to come back for. I thought maybe if it was 23 degrees and no wind and sunny, I'd come up, but it was forecast rain, so I said no thanks.
Yeah, fair enough. Ruben Berg in the MP40 with a solid 13-stroke win over Chris Hart. Nice from Ruben. Couple of hot rated rounds there. Pen Lu. Penlu got a win in the MA1 over Camille by 1 stroke. FA1 was Claire Bruton with a solid 5-stroke win. Taryn Anderson winning the MA40.
Nice, Taz.
Yeah, mate. He's either the bottom of MA40 or he's getting a win. Good on you, Taz.
Proper roller coaster, Taz.
Kerry Edwards takes the win in MA50. Pretty solid. 13 people playing in the MA50. That's solid there. MA2 was Thomas Janka. Yeah. Janka?
He's electric.
He's electric. Ash Wiedner. Park's Own gets the win in MA3.
Yeah,
super solid over Riley Sanders. Kyle Herbertson there coming in third.
Herbo. Got outdone by the Heiser Flight teammate.
Yeah.
Ash.
MA4 was Granger Woolley.
Shout out to Granger, Grovedale's very own. He hasn't been playing that long, and the guy's an absolute beast. On your Granger.
There you go.
Oh, actually... No,
it's not him.
No, it looks like he DNF'd. Maybe it's Dan Murphy.
Bad luck, Granger. Next time.
Retract that shout out.
Yeah.
I'll still shout him out. He's an awesome bloke.
Yeah. No, it looks like Dan Murphy.
Dan Murphy.
Dan Murphy's. Good on you, Dan. And then in the FA4 was Marta Lis Valge.
Very nicely done for the Golden City Classic down in Ballarat, and well done to all that crew for braving the adverse Ballarat conditions that we're so accustomed to. Fergie, Cataraction 2025, presented by Tyre Power at Gladsville.
Speaking of adverse conditions, it was a rough one. I packed the bags on this one. I got in the plane. I flew up to Sydney.
This is middle of January in Sydney. Reece Wisniewski, what the hell are you doing, mate?
I don't know.
What happened to the weather?
Bloody clouds. Do something, mate.
Reece said there hadn't been rain for like 2 months. Yeah, and then as soon as we put a comp on, it's like, Timmy's coming, let's get the rain out. Shocking.
It was pretty gross, but it was good fun to play. I enjoyed getting out because I don't get to do it a whole lot, but it was awesome.
I got to admit, this is one where I was like, I really wanted to make it, and then I saw the weather and I was like at home on the couch like...
Mate, let's just point out the course was tough. It was sick, but yeah, the conditions made the course way harder than probably it should have been.
Super tough course, hosted there at the Cataract Scout Camp in Gladesville. Reece Wisniewski obviously was your TD, and he did design an absolute beast of a course, I have to say. In fact, it was so beastly that there was only one person under par.
Dave Perry.
For the whole weekend, Dave Perry, 3 under par, took out the win in MPO over Chris Hill and Ryan Hart. We had, skipping down to FPO, Gina Hill took out the win. MP40, it was...
Olatulni. Hello, Tundi.
I did play with him,
Hello,
and I'm going to butcher his name.
Tunji.
I'll just say Tundi. He took out the win. He played really solid, smooth putter, absolutely awesome. MA1 was taken out by James Davenport. FA1 was Claire Bruton. MA40, Gavin Palmer got the win. FA40 was Carol Hartley. MA50, Kevin Brooks got the win. And in MA2, it was Jeff Helbron, who was the sponsor of the event, Tyre Power. Shout out to Jeff. Great support of the event.
Great stuff by Jeff.
Huge. Yeah, he had a good vibes going on at the 18th hole there. Had the old Tyre Power marquee set up and everything. FA2 was Amy Ellis. MA3, back-to-back, Ash Widener. Took out the win on your matey. MA4 was Patrick... Gosh, alphabet. Sorry, mate.
Patrick T.
Tijitsura.
It can't be that hard. Send it over here first.
There you go. Have a look at that.
In what division? We're talking Patrick Tichoshasantoso. Well done, sir.
Sorry,
Great
mate.
win.
Should have rehearsed your name. In FA4 was Jade Harrison and MJ15, Reed Taylor.
Shout out to all those crew. And I just want to point out, hole 18, Fergie, you mentioned it. That hole took some victims. I do believe it knocked you out of the cash.
It did.
But also, I think it averaged like 3 shots over par. And the worst score I can remember right off the top of my head was Ryan Johnson took like a 13.
Yeah.
So, and he's a very good disc golfer.
Yeah, I saw him throwing at least his third or fourth from the corner, like going out, cutting the corner over OB, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't
Don't know
look
about
good.
that.
But I was really disappointed, actually. I didn't throw OB the whole weekend. I didn't even hit a hazard the whole weekend over the couple of rounds until I got to hole 17, 18, that final round, found the hazard, and then went OB 3 times.
Oh, boy.
But it was still a good course. I loved it, and I want to go back and play it.
Nice.
Good fun.
All right, then we whip over to Perth in Mundaring, and I say Perth because that's how it's written on the on the website.
Come on, Ken Summers. You left the H off your own bloody city.
This was, in Feb for the Redtail Open. MPO was the King of Mundaring, Blake Houston, with a solid 5 strokes over his best mate, Alex Kinston. A couple of nice 1,000. Blake opened with a 10.28 rated round. Pretty solid there. Backed it up with another 1,000 rated, so happy days. In the MP40 was Pat Wilson taking out a very solid, 11-stroke lead. Well done. Sue Summers in the FP40 got the win. MA1 was Patrick Luke. MA40 was Dave Briggs. FA40 was Tanya Lian. MA50 Lotus King, nice one Lotus, he's a local too. MA2 Dan Chency. FA2 Jasmine Barr. MA3 Rain Lanemitz. FA3 was Rachel Bunting, and MA4 was Craig Morgan. Well done, guys.
Well done to that crew. Now we go across the country to Tassie in Franklin. We have Disconnection presents the RPM Tassie Open 2025. Only 32 takers down in Tassie, which is a bit disappointing. Would have thought more Vics would come over for that one. So poor form us Vics. But nevertheless, great event. Jade Brady got the win with a 29 under par. Huge win over Luke Bain. 9 shots, in fact. MA1 was taken out by Sam Rubok. MA40, Nicholas Hall. MA50, Kerry Edwards. Good return to form from Kerry Edwards. Going to be winning a few, coming back from some surgery last season. MA3, David Parsons, and MA4, Mark Fahey.
And we'll go over to the other side, well, a little bit further up the east coast of Australia to Sydney Olympic Park for the final fling presented by Disconnection. Your TD was Matt Wallace. In MPO, taking out the event over 4 strokes over Mario Torberg was Clayton Beck.
Nice, Clayton.
Clayton had a good win there, got the cash. In MA1, we had John Lewis take out the win. MA40 was old school name there, Albert Munoz. He got the win there.
So you got like 5 kids now?
I don't know. He got the win over Pete Hellier, actually, so good to see Pete up there playing some events. FA40 was Jennifer Bailey. MA50, Tunga Watford. In MA2, we had Jack Tonzing, got the win. In MA3, we had Sean Tarno Morty. I'm getting all the interesting names today, which is good.
I'm just looking forward to doing the cut of Fergie, like just butchering.
Yeah, come on,
Could you splice something together? In MA4, we had Henry Huang take out the win. And MJ15, Reed Taylor.
Easy one. Wow. We are getting through these events. We're getting through these events, boys, but this is a lot of names to shout out. So we're going to push through the last couple. We had the Ruffy Rumble Day 1 up in Melbourne. MA50, Alex Evans had a win. MA2, Glenn Macy had a win. FA2, Kim Mitchell. MA3, Levi Naunton. And MA4, Paul Baker. FA4, Marta Lise Valga, another win. MJ15 for Marcus Davies. We move over to day 2, which was the big dog day. That's the one we all care about. And MPO was taken out by none other than Deeros, Ryan Deer.
Ooh.
And here's the scoop. He beat Dylan by 8 shots, and we're getting him on the pod for a chat later on. So that's amazing. Will be good to hear from Ryan Deer. Maybe a name that most people in MPO are familiar with, but maybe not. He's only been playing for a couple of years and doing some good things. MP40, Darren Stay-Smith had a huge win. MA1, Kaylin Haramis had a nice big win. MA40, Jay Ross had a good win over Taz. Taz came second, not last there, Paddy.
Oh, there you go. Nice, Taz. Good backup. The roller coaster's on the way down.
Now, it'll be last next event, that's for sure.
Come on, we got to shout Daz out.
Yep.
Oh, massive.
Yeah.
Huge win. And
no. What was that first round rating?
Oh, like 10 million. It was big. Yeah. I think it was 10:30 at least.
Yeah.
10, yeah. Very, very big round. Absolutely lit it up.
Solid.
We moved back over to WA, the Alexander Heights Classic presented by Pro GI. Alex Kinnison had an enormous win over Corral. MP40, Chris Finn had a good win over Noisy. FP40, Joanne McCamish. MA1, Jonathan Manukehouse. FA1, Claire Beatty. MA40, Matt Beard. FA40, Tanya Leanne. MA50, Lotus Kingston. MA60, Kim Holmes. MA2, Travis Ho. FA2, Jasmine Barr. MA3, Stephen Kirk. MA4, Craig Morgan. FA4, Becky Morgan. And MJ15, James Lim.
Nice.
Lucky the MAs stop at 4 and not 15 because, my word, there are a lot of divisions.
There's a lot. There's a lot of divisions. No Blake Howson.
No Blake Howson. Didn't
play
that one. But Alex, nonetheless, got enough birdies for both of them. We move over to Garden City Open in Toowoomba and strap yourself in. There is 16 divisions here. So here we go. We'll run through them. Luke Bain had a 4-shot win over Jack Siphonius. In MPO, MP40 was Ryan Johnson. MA1, Luke Robinson. FA1, Sarah Maybe. MA40, Mitch Graham. FA40, Sarah O'Shaughnessy. MA50, David Todd. FA50, Tanya Behan. MA2, Archer Shaw. FA2, Tanise Dark. MA3, Nathan Thomas. FA3, Jade Harrison. MA4, Isaac Barnett. FA4, Sarah Whitehouse. MJ15, Tasman Shaw. And FJ15, Bailey Rubb. Well done to everybody that's played an Aussie event this year. That was an enormous list of names to get through. We wanted to give you all your little bit of a limelight on the pod. So, well done.
Yeah, right. Yeah, do we have time for anything? Yeah.
Quick crack a window in here.
Yeah.
Catch your breath. We have a big one coming up. Next up is the Sizzler. Got any tips, boys? I actually have to take the favourite, Dave Perry, because I was driving today and I saw none other than a massive truck with Perry Demolition written on it. That was the only 2 words on it. And I like that Ash Wiedner pointed out that even the truck has a fair caboose on it. So, I mean, that's not an omen to tip Perry.
It was a dump truck, wasn't it?
Was it carrying peaches?
I don't know. People
Too
were
good to be
saying,
true.
Yeah. But that's my tip. You guys got any other tips? I mean, it's hard to go past the Canberrans because they always tear it up there, don't they?
100%.
I'm going to go Dan Frost.
Defrost?
Yeah.
Defrost.
Well, I'll take Jade then. I think
Jade's playing some good disc golf. He looked pretty faultless in Tassie.
He's going for the 3-peat, surely.
And it's on the black layout, isn't it?
It's like the hybrid gold layout, I think. Okay. So not quite. Black's a whole different thing according to Dan, but who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Nice one.
Interested to see that one. So let's take a quick breather and we might jump into a phone call with none other than Ryan Deer.
We just called to have a chin wag. We just called to have a chat with friends. We just called to talk some disco and to catch up on the latest disco trends.
All right, and on the phone, Ryan Deer. Dear Ryan, he's joined us, mate, hot off a big win. First MPO win of the year and of the career, are we saying
he snuck in a few wins there, but this is the first big win.
First big one.
A 10-12 average, if you don't mind. Like, that is a statement if I've ever seen one. So, congrats, mate.
Thanks, Timmy. Yeah, actually, first, unless you count those little summer series things down at Rocky Lake Park.
We count them, Rye. We count them. They're the only ones that I win.
Tim counts them, mate.
We count them. Don't worry about that.
Tim has to count them.
Well, then I've got a few of those under my belt, but this is the first proper one. So, yeah, it felt like a good win.
And, I mean, it was an 8-shot win over Dylan Feldman, and I've heard Dylan's name before. He's actually pretty good at disc golf, wouldn't you say, boys?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he retired, but no worries. No, yes, very good disc golfer. So solid performance there, right? I know we've played together a few times. You've been on the scene for the last couple of years, and obviously the game is developing. What's been working for you lately? What have you been working on?
Honestly, it's been a few things. The forehand, you saw me initially, was not great. Honestly, non-existent, some would say, but that's coming in. And the confidence with the putting, I think caring a bit less about everything in general has definitely helped us out. So, yeah.
So a bit of forehand and mental game. Jeez, Tim.
Oh, he's been listening to the Tee Off Disc Golf Reflection tip of the week.
Further to that, Ryan, what's in the bag, mate? What are you throwing on? What are you relying on?
What did I throw a lot of last weekend? I threw my Buzz a lot, Disc Golf Buzz. If you want to sponsor me, check me out. I threw a lot of a T-Bird and a few nukes in there as well.
What's that crappy RPM disc you're always chucking on every hole? That little floaty backhand one.
Tui?
That's a Tuckapoo.
A Tuckapoo. Mate, he's pretty good with the Tuckapoo. I don't know if everyone's come across Ryan D before, because you've only been playing, your first tourney was in 2023, mate. But I can vouch for him. He's got a very smooth backhand. His form reminds me a little bit of Brodie Smith. I don't know if anyone's going to agree with that, but I see a little bit of Brodie.
Have you got a ball patch too, Ryan?
No, he's got a full mop of hair.
I was going to say, your Instagram reminds me a bit of Brodie Smith.
I'm looking at it now, mate. I'm looking at this. This is just something else.
There's a bit of a washboard happening now.
Paddy's put a note on the agenda here. Is what's with the thirst trap posts that you're putting out there, mate? You're a very... Look, I'll be out there. You're a good-looking rooster, and some of the gym work you've done in the off-season, mate, the rig is in fine nick.
We've already got a peaches, but I'm seeing pears right now. Let me tell you.
He's clearly like he's seen some of the thirst traps that are on there on these disc golf girls, and he's going for that. I like it. Going to build up that following.
It's one way to get more girls into the sport is Rowan Deere. But no, mate. So just back on that point, first comp in 2023, your rating has jumped from 913 to 964 in 2 years. So do you think that's just a result of just natural growth, or are you actually physically, targeting your training, trying to work on that mental game, trying to work on caring less, and any change to the putting? Like what's sort of been the number one thing that's helped you jump up in rating so quickly?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been a bit of both. I think getting used to playing the sport and the environment and just being more comfortable on MPO cards has definitely helped increase that rating. But honestly, in terms of the one thing that's sort of helped me improve my game the most is I've always been pretty decent at putting it close, but my putting has always been the thing that's always let me down. So once I got a basket at home and all that sort of stuff, it's really helped me sort of be able to practice that more routinely. So I definitely say that.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome stuff. And what exactly are you putting with?
I'm putting with the base plastic Tuckapoos from us.
Yeah, I like how you said base plastic, because I did catch Ryan Deere last season quite often putting on the practice green before tourneys with a Primo plastic disc, which is a massive disc golf faux pas, if I may say so, Ryan.
He is new, isn't he? He is new. Are those baseline Tuckapoos nice and dirty, mate?
Yeah, they're real dirty.
They hold the dirt, don't they, those ones?
Oh, it's good. And
it's obviously working though. So
what's what's the plans next, right? Like you're going to tour a bit of Australia, but it looks like that you're putting in some pretty serious work to have a crack at disc golf. Any bigger plans on the horizon?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm the sort of person that once I'm hooked in on something, I kind of go all in. So definitely the plan over the next few years is whilst I'm finishing off my uni degree, give the Australian disc golf scene as big a crack as possible, and then hopefully be good enough to maybe head over to the US and see how I go, sort of thing. So that's the plan long term.
Oh, that's awesome stuff, mate. So we can count you in for all the big Aussie comps this year as well, which is going to be cool to see.
All right, look look out, Ezra Adderhold, eh?
Now, Rye, I have one last question just before we let you go. Are you better than Leo Dykes, or is it just because he's injured? What's the story here?
Honestly, I think we are, like, I actually can't split up. Like, some days it'll be he just absolutely blows me out the water, and then other days he looks like he stinks. But overall, it's pretty consistent between us two.
He totally thinks he's better. Come on.
I mean, he's got a self-proclaimed top 3 forehand, but I mean, the numbers don't lie. Diros is miles out ahead at the moment.
I'm trying to remember the tournament. I can't remember, but Leo was up there and he was playing really well. And we're going into the final round, and I think I was behind him, and I think maybe it was like the last 2 holes, and I passed Ryan, and he's like, hey, it's Leo Paddy. Anything can happen on the last hole. And I think he took a double bogey.
Oh, no.
Oh, savage. Love it.
But Rye, we do love the fact that you're just absolutely smashing disc golf at the moment, and you've got the right attitude. You're good fun to play with, and thanks very much for coming on the pod. We wish you all the very best for the season ahead.
Hey, why is my wife following you on this?
Oh, no. Emily.
All right. I'll send you a message later, right? But thanks for being on the pod.
Cheers, boys. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, what a good sport. And look, if you want to jump on and follow Ryan's Instagram page, which is worth a follow, but just support an up and coming player on the Australian scene. It is Diros10 on Instagram, and it's good to see, like, he's a disc golf warehouse, Australia sponsored. He's on the street team. He's given it a fair crack here.
And the best thing about Ryan is the interview, and I'm proud of us boys. That was nice and short and sharp. Not unlike Ryan himself. So, but let's move on. We got a fun little segment to wrap up. We have, I want to spend a few minutes talking about all of the player movements in the off season.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't help but listen to the Dave Perry episode, which we of course recorded last year, Paddy.
Yeah.
Came out last week, and you can hear the hope in my voice that I really, really wanted Ezra Robinson to stay with Prodigy. And my tip was that he would stay, and he unfortunately broke up with me via text message, and now he's over with Discraft. So we had both Robinsons move. Obviously, Isaac, it was pretty much a fait accompli that he would leave at the end of the season. And we all, the strong money was Discmania. And he was putting out little Easter eggs here and there saying, like, I only follow Discmania. He's got all these, like, Discmania discs from his friend Gannon, all this sort of stuff. There was even, someone had an image of him purchasing a Discmania disc at a Facebook auction online, and we're like, confirmed Discmania. And he pulled the rug out from everybody. And where's he gone, Paddy?
Oh, mate, he's my boy now. Latitude 64. He's the front runner. Actually, it was really 64. It was really funny. A lot of people, so they posted a photo of, a silhouette, and it was, we now know it was Isaac, but the person was standing there holding his bag straps. Like that. And that was enough for people to be like, oh, yeah, I reckon that's Isaac Robinson, because that's the way that he holds his bag straps. And stuff. Like,
you gotta love how people read into that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So I did see the Discmania stuff, and I thought that was pretty good. But then when the bag strap thing was coming out, I was like, oh, that's hilarious too. So, yeah, cool to see him enjoy Latitude 64. I'm stoked to see that he's building the bag and he's figuring out a lot of discs. So it's exciting for Latitude, and I really love that they've invested in a big name. He's got that kind of vibe for Latitude as well, but a big US name as well. It's good to see. And
being such a, he's got a strong spiritual and religious background, he's going to love all the crappy Latitude 64 name discs. Yeah. He'll be throwing the faith. He'll be living on a prayer. He'll be all this sort of stuff. But Latitude, that's kind of a good pickup from them. Obviously, he's a world champ, but now they've got both world champs. So they've got Kristen as well.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting stuff.
I did like the announcement video as well. If you haven't seen that, probably people have, but that was just him and Jonathan just going around, and Isaac's partner, and it was just hilarious. It was great. Yeah,
good stuff.
One of the best ones I've seen.
Actually, a good segue there. I really liked the announcement video of Ezra as well. So Ezra Robinson, obviously, big move to Discraft. I didn't see that coming. I don't know if you guys saw that coming.
No.
Huge move. And they announced him. He was in the factory, just looking like a kid in a candy shop, and got some really cool looking stamps out on some new Discraft discs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was pretty late in the off season that this occurred because, he obviously played New Zealand. He's had his first win. I don't think he's very familiar with the Discraft discs. I think it might have came pretty late in the piece, and he's not had a whole lot of time to work out what he likes and what he doesn't like. And
Which is
And
scary.
with his brother, like, was there, apprehension of leaving because, obviously he would have known what his brother was doing, but was he waiting for his brother to come out and announce first, or I don't know.
Not really sure, but look, it makes sense. He is a top 5 player on rating. Obviously, hasn't got the wins behind him just yet, but the skill set is there, and the fact that he got his first Pro Tour win with fresh discs that he's not used to is just a testament to how skilled he is, and they both are. The Robinson boys. A bit of a dynasty waiting to happen, if not, it's already happening.
Yeah. Wonder if I'll say that about Freddie and George at some stage. All right.
Now, I guess the next big one is probably, I don't know, which one trumps this? Is it the Ken Climo one or the Jeremy Colling move? Which one's the next biggest move? Although, obviously, we actually probably go to Ricky.
Well, yeah, I think we all knew Ricky was going to sort of part ways from Dynamic. It's cool to see him at Discraft.
I mean, he had a 1 year contract. He had a 1 year still to run on that contract.
Oh, I think there was a lot of rumours. Maybe I was just seeing that. So, true, he did have a year left. But, Dynamic have copped a lot of slack over the last 6 months or so. So, maybe that's sparred, most of that. And I know financially they've been struggling too, so maybe that was part of it as well. But
they cut their two most expensive players in Ricky and Kona. Kona's more of a... She's sort of got a big following and a social media presence more so than her sort of FPO prowess, I guess. But to, publicly cut those two contracts with a year to go, it sort of seems all doom and gloom at DD.
A little.
Yeah, it's not looking great. Obviously the changeover to House of Discs, whether that's had something to do with it. I know they've lost a few of their kind of key people in the background as well, sold up. Jeremy Risco's not at the helm anymore. Well, I think he's still involved in the company, but don't know. Clearly there's just some cracks happening.
Not great, but to see Ricky go, I was surprised with Discraft, to be honest, because, they've just got everyone now, all these.
I'd love to see
massive hitters.
I would love to see the receipt, just itemizing all the contracts and what they pay each year for all their players, because they have everybody. As you said, they've got Ezra, AB, Macbeth, Ricky, Cal LaVisca, Chris Dickerson. The list goes on, and they bought all these other players like Chris Clemens, and they've got Hammers, and I don't know, there's a million players on the Discraft roster. It's incredible.
Andy Fish is still there.
Yeah, Andrew Fish, yep.
Yeah. And as well, in the meantime,
Ezra Adhold.
launching a new brand.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Climo Disc Golf is its own beast, but, it is being made by Discraft.
And that was a huge one. No one saw that coming. So how many years has Climo been with Innova? Like a million?
A couple of decades.
Yeah, a long time.
Maybe 3.
No, more than that.
3 decades?
And
30 years, you reckon?
It's just one of those picks where it's one of those grabs to get to sign Ken Climo that no one saw coming, and you're kind of like, what are you getting when you get Ken Climo? Because he doesn't play anymore, does a little bit of commentary here or there. He's not obviously like a social media presence, but somehow it's been huge. Like now everybody knows who Ken Climo is if they didn't already, and the interest in his new discs made by Discraft, as you mentioned, Fergs, incredible.
Just good marketing. As a retailer, for example, we were notified straight away. There was a good ordering system. There's good communication. They're just well organised, and that's just obviously a testament to a bigger brand. And in some respects, Discraft don't have an amazing ordering system, but but still, they were ready to go. They had the discs. They had a marketing plan, and they just executed it.
So, have you had the same from Ching Discs? And Scott?
No, not quite, not the same.
But I bring up Scott Stokely because it's the same vibe. I would love to see Ken Climo on some of these skin matches and stuff like that. He's such a presence, and there's a lot of debating in people about who's the GOAT and blah 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 blah. But just to have him on, even the commentary that he's been on, he's just a wealth of knowledge, and he knows so much about so many courses and knows so many people. It's amazing to have him still present and coming back and being more present.
So articulate, knowledgeable, and that gravelly voice is so iconic. That's his trademark.
Yeah.
So Ricky with Discraft, though, I just want to touch back on that one. Do you think there was like people out there vying for Ricky's signature, or was just Discraft's the only one that could afford him? And like just to be teammates with Paul, they've had such like a strong rivalry. I know there's a lot of mutual respect there, but they were never good mates, and now they're teammates. It's an interesting one, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely it is.
I think one of the other podcasts asked Ricky, what's it going to be like, playing against and beating Paul Macbeth with his own discs. And Ricky's like, I can't wait. Like it's going to be amazing.
Good on him.
So yeah, I love it. And hopefully it's, just the added fire, not that he needs any more to sort of spur Macbeth back on, because let's be honest, the Ricky versus Paul like rivalry is just the best thing in disc golf.
I mean, the only thing that I would say onto like the timing of everything, it's probably a really bad time to have your contract end. Like in the state of everything, like a lot of these companies are posting that they're like the boom has sort of peaked and it's going the wrong way, like for a lot of these companies. So to then be sitting there and be like, well, all these players have got their $1 million contracts, like who's actually doing well? He was probably quite limited as where he could go. So yeah, maybe Discraft. I would have thought Discraft or Innova were probably the big ones. So
Innova haven't really signed anyone big, to be honed.
No.
They picked up Emily Weatherman, young up and coming FPO player, and a good get, I think.
Yeah,
They retained Kelvin.
They got Kona too.
They got Kona as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm keen to see how she goes this year. Maybe that's a bit of the spark that she needs to sort of get back into it.
Had a sort of middle of the pack finish at Supreme Disc Golf Open, but
She's got her old man at Innova.
Okay.
He does all of their kind of marketing and social media. Yeah, that's him.
Right,
so
right.
it'll be interesting to see like how they kind of get together maybe, and how she feels maybe more comfortable working with her dad and things like that. Might change the dynamic a little bit. But didn't Ricky was with Discraft like early on the piece?
Oh, look, this is all before my time, Fergus. I'm not too sure.
I'm pretty sure he was at some point, but he has moved around a lot.
Yeah, he certainly has. Next biggest one, Jeremy Colling to MVP.
Yeah.
That is a huge one. And look, Jerm, he's kind of been like not really challenging for any wins on the Pro Tour scene. He's kind of like Sexton in that respect, but he's such a big personality and one of the more popular players on tour. And it's been a great get for MVP. Yep. Like they really
smart, man.
Very smart, isn't it?
Very, very smart.
Like I love how
just get it.
They just get the popular players MVP.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's worth it. Like he might not get a win this season, but have him throwing our discs is going to be huge for the brand. And yeah.
I mean, I just look at all those guys, like they're just the guys that you'd want to just hang out with. Like Jeremy, Simon, Eagle, like they're just fun. Like, I mean, we've hung out with Eagle. He's a fun dude to be with, and I love that Big Jam like travels a bit as well. Like, he's got like internationally, like he's done Japan, he's done New Zealand. So yeah, he's an absolute character. He's liked by a lot of people. So huge by MVP, and I'm pretty confident that they're probably seeing the results already.
Oh,
like,
massively!
A lot of people are posting all the Big Jam discs that are coming through. So
what is that? What is that disc? I cannot remember.
It seems like the MVP have that no dickhead policy kind of thing going on in their business, where they're just like, no, not interested in kind of having someone just for we don't need their ego.
It's a good policy.
We're just gonna no dickheads.
No dickheads.
Yeah. If only the flying disc store had. No.
I was going to say, should the pod have that or?
What's the
in Australia, your pool of dickheads is a lot bigger.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
What's the big germ disc that just came out that everyone's raving about?
It's a dragonfly on
the dragonfly on it.
Yeah, but what's it called? It's on the tip of my tongue.
It's a mid, isn't it?
It's not the Tesla or something, is it?
Is it a mid or is it a
I've
driver?
got a picture of it and it doesn't say what it is on the front. MVP is one of those brands that I just have not dabbled in. I remember when I inherited the Geelong Disc Golf store, there was a lot of ugly MVP rattling around the bottom of the tubs. And but it's the brand. The brand has done a 180 and is now one of the premier disc golf brands. It's very, very impressive.
I do like they invest a bit in Skullboy to do some stamps there. And that's again really smart. Love those stamps.
Yeah, and John Dawn as well. He's done a stamp. Designed stamps with them for a while. He's really good.
So a couple other moves. Gavin Rathbun went to Prodigy. There you go, Tim. Rathbun.
Very happy with that, mate. He had a very underrated year, and obviously Prodigy, one of the smaller businesses and brands on the market. They lost their big heavy hitters in Isaac and Ezra and Gannon a year prior.
Yeah.
But they've retained Luke Humphreys, and they've gone out and grabbed Deanne Carey and Gavin Rathbun and Jake Hebenheimer. Which,
Nice.
They're all sort of good up-and-coming players that are maybe not getting the limelight or the accolades just yet, but have the skill set to really
That's kind of been Prodigy's.
Well, I know. I was going to say,
though.
like, you've got to hand it to Prodigy because they've produced some world champs and some very, very good players. They just obviously can't hold on to them. But.
I'm not going anywhere, Fergs. So they got the most important signature.
Gavin was he Infinite last year? No. Or Open Bag? I can't remember who he was with.
Yeah, he might have been picked up by Infinite or Thought Space,
Yeah.
like one of those sort of those types that don't actually make their own discs, but more of a design and logo company that put out apparel as well.
Yeah. So we mentioned it before, but Kona to Innova, that's going to be an interesting year to watch that. Parker Welk signs with DD, which is really nice to see. I mean, he won the, is it the DD Open? No, we don't call it that anymore, do we? The GBO?
Was it
No, I think it's the DD Open. He
Diamond Open, yeah.
Yeah, he won that, which was absolutely, he was unheard of, and then, got the win there. So cool to see him sign with them. Heidi Lane signed with Westside, which is cool. Kale was another big one that's dropped off.
The names finally come to me. It's the Tempo. I was going to say the Tesla.
Tempo.
The Tempo is the big germ disc that everyone's raving about at the moment.
Oh, there you go. Kale LaVisca moves to Discraft, which is cool to see. Joel Freeman, he was a big, he's been Innova for a long time. So.
Everybody's favourite, Joel Freeman.
Yeah, was watching that one by the edge of my seat.
I say that
Do you like his
facetiously.
pants or his shirt the best?
I don't like much about Joel Freeman, but he was unfortunately the winner of the Ulti World Disc Golf Survey least likable player.
Oh,
It was
There
like
you
him
go.
and Nico were like neck and neck.
Yeah.
That's such a rough one.
I know, it's rough.
That's so rough. Oh, God.
Well, at least he won something. Macy Felatius and Robert Burridge moved to Dynamic Disc. And
That's
we
a
mentioned it before.
Good
So,
grab, Robert Burridge.
Yeah. He's kind of been on the on that, top 20, top 30, like here and there.
Very young player, still got
Yeah.
a lot of growth in him, and he was good last season. Had a good start to this season. Played well in New Zealand. Played well at the Supreme. What was it, just Supreme Disc Golf Open that just went down in Florida. So good stuff
Yeah.
from him.
And as we mentioned before, Macy moves back to Dynamic. I'm keen to get some more Macy justices. They're pretty solid. Maria Oliver moves to Trash Panda. Trash Panda doing some cool things, to be honest. They sort of popped up a lot over the convention, the disc golf convention that they had, and talking a lot about their recycled plastic that they do, which is, really cool. Nathan Nathan Queen
Yes,
moves.
no more Queenie rates.
McQueen.
He's-
Moves to Infinite, and he's throwing an open bag, I believe, which is pretty cool. Tim, you mentioned before, Hebby Heimer moves to Prodigy. Evan Smith to Dynamic, which I think, again, is interesting. Parker Welk, Evan Smith, both very young, playing some good golf here and there. So
Parker Welk's a good grab for them too. He's a very marketable, likeable guy. It just always seems like he's having the best day ever when he's on Instagram, which...
he's the one who did that fly kick through the fork in the
that
tree.
was
It's funny. Yeah. If that's not your stamp, I don't know what it is. Deanne and AJ Carey to Prodigy. Lisa Fakis to Millennium, which would be interesting. Very
Millennium, they're Innova made? Millennium?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I think it's Dave Dunapace's kind of little side brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how they don't have the Falcon, made by Millennium, I don't know. But anyway, probably some
They
copyrights
do,
in
don't they?
there.
Do they not?
I don't
think
think
they do.
there's a
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might be one. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Maury Villman is a
Yeah.
big one. He's like one of the best Europeans.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what event it was last year that he was absolutely torching it early and unfortunately didn't get the win. But yeah, MVP as well. So they're just sort of dipping their toes into more European markets, I guess,
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
Maury
Which is cool.
Villman.
It's not surprised that they haven't kind of signed huge names because they've probably got a bit of cash flow. Well, I mean, they're paying whatever it is to Simon Lizotte every year. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aiden Scott, another young up-and-comer, moves to Infinite as well. And then Chandler Kramer to Gateway.
Yep. So Chandler Kramer, I think he was Lone Star. He was one of the... And Burridge obviously was as well. And Nico. They sort of... No one's at Lone Star anymore.
Yeah.
So it might be, I don't know if Emerson Keith's still there.
It's a lone star.
Yeah.
Lone Star.
But boys, that's a whole lot of names making movements, and I just wanted to sort of run through a couple of those names, and I wanted to see if you boys can tell me what will be there, what you think there will be their Tour Series discs.
Okay.
So, Paddy, you know Latitude 64 the best. What do we think Isaac Robertson's going to slap his name on? Obviously, we know Kristen's got the Grace. Grace is untouchable.
Yeah.
What's Isaac taking?
Well, I think he will take the Rive. That's one of their
overstable boy.
Yeah, they're big like distance drivers. I mean, he did when he signed, he had his little signing disc, and that was a Rive.
Okay.
But I also think he might put his name on the Peak, which is the new putter that's been announced. So yeah, I think he'll. The Peak, yes. It's overstable, with a little bit of a bead. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what he was putting, if it was PA3s.
It's PA3s, and he threw a lot of PA3s as well. He was very good with a putter.
I think there is some comparisons there to be made. So, yeah, I think he might take over that.
Ricky at Discraft, Fergie, there's only really one answer for this. Ricky Raptor Legs, Wysocki.
Oh, surely.
What's he throwing at Discraft?
Surely.
Does Yuli have the...
Yuli's got the cap wrap, and Gossage has the Raptor as well. But, I mean...
There's space there. Well, you can't not. It's a marketing nightmare if you didn't go ahead and put his name on the bloody Raptor.
You've got to give it to Ricky.
Sure.
Ricky
If
Raptors.
not, maybe the Venom.
Okay.
12 speed, stable driver. Yeah, that could be up his
alley.
That'd
be up his alley all day.
So potentially that. I'm glad you asked me something about Discraft, because I was hoping you wouldn't ask me what Jake and Heberheibers you throwing at Prodigy.
I can maybe answer that one.
Maybe?
Heavy?
Yeah, what's Heavy throwing at Prodigy?
I think he's taken the feedback, which was it was actually Kevin Jones's it's kind of like a Thunderbird is the most comparable disc, I think. 9-speed, overstable distance driver. And the feedback was in Kevin Jones's sort of DJ audio terms with the reverb, the feedback, the distortion.
Yeah, right. And Latitude is crap.
what was
mate.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna let you have that one there, Paddy, because I'm not a fan. But the feedback is a fantastic disc, and I think that's one Heavy's taken. So I know.
What was Kale throwing? Didn't he? He had
a few. He had the Falcor, which was the high speed one, and the Strider, which is probably more his style, which is like a deep dish mid, his smooth backhand throwing would be the Strider.
Strider sounds good. That was He-Man's horse.
Actually, a lot of these names are from characters, but folks, you would actually love the Strider, like for your personal game.
I might have to get one with a custom stamp Strider on the front with He-Man gracing it.
There you go.
Honestly, if there's any health professionals listening, I hear the Strider, I'm like, oh no, that's not a good
What's
name.
a Strider in
Strider is like if you're choking.
Oh, really?
If you've got a constricted airway.
I don't want to throw that disc and choke.
There you go.
There you go.
Not a disc for me. One of those ones that requires a bit of touch and sort of backhand angle control. No, thank you. What about Ezra Robinson at Discraft, boys? What do we think is going to be his? I mean, I feel like everyone that goes to Discraft takes either the Raptor or the bloody Zone. Like, how many people have the Zone as their tour series?
Kind of like you're saying the Venom.
The Venom, it's a great disc. I mean, it's a fair bit of disc. I know Blake Houston's throwing it quite well.
I did watch the video from Ezra, and he was throwing a lot of forces, a lot of nukes. He didn't mention he's throwing the Venom at all. He did say he had a lot of love for
Nukes
the Malta.
Cool.
I think the Malta, maybe that might be his sort of jam. Maybe
it's got a stable mid, isn't it? It's quite low profile.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be quite overstable. It's not really in reality, but that's the one he was liking. So, it'd be interesting to see if he slaps his name on the Malta.
All right, we've got Emily Weatherman in Innova. What do we reckon?
I mean,
Destroyer?
The Innova girls love roadies, the Roadrunners, Holland Finley, a couple of other people have got their name on the Roadrunner.
Like,
maybe the Sidewinder.
A bird?
I don't know how everyone should throw the Sidewinder. Used to love the Sidewinder.
That's great. Was it
Innova.
9, neg 5?
Just like,
I don't know.
Maybe neg 3. I think the Roadrunner's neg 4.
Oh,
that's
right.
The Sidewinder's neg 3.
Yeah.
But fantastic disc. I'm going to go with the Sidewinder for Emily Weatherman. Yep. And we'll go through all these.
No.
Gavin Rathbun with Prodigy. I could say D and just put a number, and you guys would be like, "Oh yeah, we don't know what that is."
0.5 or whatever. Yeah.
No, Rathbun throws a lot of. I don't know too much about his game, but he's a fairly smooth thrower. There's a lot of hyzer flipping stuff. So I reckon he could take the FX4, which is what Isaac used to love throwing. Both Isaac and Ezra. That sort of hyzer flip, 9-speed fairway driver. That's my tip for Rathbun.
What about like Parker Welk. He's coming into like he's one of like the bigger names now.
Yeah,
Don't know.
right.
He's got his kind of like pick of everything.
And he's with DD. Well,
He's with
I mean,
DD. What'd he do?
he was at DGA and he was loving. Oh, I don't really know their disc too well. The Quasar, is it Quasar?
Okay.
It's like it might be the Quake. Whatever the overstable.
I think it's Quake. Quasar was a Millennium disc. I
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
right. Yeah, it's the Quake. It's the overstable dumpy mid. So maybe Parker Justice.
Yeah.
Parker
Could be
parking
cool.
with the Justice. It's got kind of there's something to work with there. Don't really like how that sounds, but it's something to work with. Kale LaVisca.
Yeah, I like it.
We might just roll with Kale and we'll stop there.
We'll
We'll not go through
wrap
all
it
the
up.
names. But what do we reckon? Kale's throwing at Discraft.
What about like something old school?
I don't know, like a Thrasher. That might be too flippy.
Yeah. What did is
like
it
a meteor?
Meteor?
A comet?
A comet?
Oh, the Meteor
comet
might
would
be
be cool.
a good bet. The Comet, I just think of, what's his name with the Comet? Who's that old school dude? Michael Johansson.
Yeah,
yeah. The Comet, oh my God, I touched that disc and I just like can't imagine it being thrown at an elite level. Like it just feels so bad to me.
I hope MJ's like ponytail ends up in the Hall of Fame somewhere. They'll just cut it off one day and it just sits there.
That could be a good disc for him though, the Comet or the Meteor. I like that shout with the Meteor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reeks Dr. Smooth. But there you go. If you've got any other ideas for what tour series discs some of these players are throwing, please send it into our Instagram. Fergie's in charge of the socials now, and he'll make sure he gets back to you promptly because I'll be whipping him to do so.
Absolutely. We're already following Maria Olivia, so that's a good one.
It's Maria Oliva, boys. Get the name right.
Sorry.
I just know her as Mo.
I don't know.
Mo.
Mo. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening to the first episode of 2025 of the Tee Off. It's pretty good to be back. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And send in any questions or topics you'd like us to discuss. Until next time, we hope you get out and play some disc golf with your mates.
So that's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. I don't know why you're still here.
Oh.
We have to go see our families. Seriously, just go play disc golf.